Welcome back, everyone. I'm here in the mostly empty game room, which is why we got the close mic here, because after filming a couple of unboxing videos, I didn't realize how echoey this room is without all my crap in it. But anyway, I'm back again with some more video game pickups. Unfortunately, about 95% of my collection is stashed away at the moment, so I may not have every game here physically, but we're going to talk about them anyway. So let's get some modern games out of the way. First up, we got Mario Party Superstars. I've never been the biggest fan of this series, but I saw some streamers playing it and I thought, I'll give it a chance. The wife and I have played a few times and we had fun. We definitely want to play with more people, but the problem is finding more people. So hey, if you're interested, let me know in the comments below. This next game I discovered on PlayStation Now and enjoyed a lot more than I expected, and that is Chicken Police Paint It Red. I guess you could describe this as a point-and-click adventure, which is something I don't typically like. But as you can see, the art style is, well, it's something. I did really enjoy the story, primarily the banter between characters. Some subtle humor here and there, but when I saw this game brand new at GameStop for $10, I had to get it. If you happen to have seen the video I did talking about games I beat in 2021, this next game was one of them. However, at the time it was digital only, so I was excited to get a physical copy of Flynn, Son of Crimson. This is the first game I ever purchased from Super Rare Games. I started following the developers of this game shortly after I beat it, and I was excited when they announced a physical release. Like I said previously, I don't know why I like this game so much. I think it's a combination of the old school style graphics, the platforming, and the fact that the game wasn't frustrating, but it also didn't feel too easy. So this game felt like just the right amount of challenge, and I do recommend checking it out. Next up, we got That's You on the PS4. This is a game I downloaded years ago when I first got PlayStation Plus, and the wife and I hadn't played it in a long time until a couple of nights ago, and I forgot how much fun this game was. It's a great party game to play with friends while having a few drinks, and hey, you may even learn something about your friends that you never knew. There's also some drawing segments that typically result in certain body parts being, well, you can figure it out. I've passed up on a physical copy of this game so many times and I have no idea why. It's like $5 and it's worth every penny. Now, I know I'm not the only one who feels that the last 2 or 3 years have been kind of a blur, so I can't remember if it was 2019 or 2020, but an old work buddy of mine hit me up one day and was like, hey, I got some PSP games for you if you're interested. At the time, I didn't even have a PSP, but of course, I'm not going to pass up on games I don't have, so I gave him a pretty lowball offer to see if he'd accept it, and he was happy with it, and of course, I was too. And the crazy thing is, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in a previous pickups video that I was going to do a video talking about these games, and I never did. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about every single game. I'm pretty sure I got about 40 some games, but let's talk about some of the heavy hitters. Unfortunately, these games are packed away right now, but I was able to get gameplay footage. First up, Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins. Yeah, I suck at these games, but I still find myself coming back because apparently I like torturing myself. I'm sure I could be good if I tried, but whatever. Next up, we got Infected. I don't really remember much about this game, but I think I had fun with it. But really the selling point for me was the soundtrack. It's got songs by Slipknot, El Nino, Chimera, and even more. It pretty much reminds me of all the songs I had ripped on my Xbox back in the day. We also got the Gradius Collection, or Gradius Collection, however you pronounce it. This is another series of games that I'm terrible at, but I still enjoy. Moving on, we also got Capcom's Classic Collection Remix. Classic arcade games on one disc. How can you be upset with arcade on the go? Next, we got a series of games. First up, we got Silent Hill Origins. I did a review of this game a couple years ago, but that was after playing the PS2 version. I did play this version originally back in the day before I started collecting when I first owned a PSP, but like many handheld games, I had a hard time getting into it, so I was happy to play this on the big screen. And if you want to know more about how I felt about this game, check out the review. Another game I originally played on the big screen, Silent Hill Shattered Memories. If you didn't know, this game is pretty much a reimagining of the first Silent Hill. I played this game for the first time on the Wii, and while the concept was kind of cool, I got really annoyed having to use the Wiimote as a flashlight. Flashlight is what I meant to say. So like Origins, I completed this game on the PS2 and enjoyed it a lot more than I expected. However, for me, neither of these games will ever compare to the original 4. Last up, we got the Silent Hill Experience. This is pretty much a collection of digital comics, music from the games, which I love, along with some interviews. As a fan of this series, this is pretty cool overall. So that was just a handful of some of the PSP games I got, but the same guy hit me up again last year and was like, hey, I got some more games for you if you're interested, otherwise I'm going to throw them away. However, that may have been his way of conning me into buying them, but unfortunately it was around Christmas time. I didn't have a lot of money on me, but I sent him another lowball offer and he was happy with it, and well, so was I. With that being said, we got quite a few complete in box Game Boy Advance games, which is awesome because my handheld collection is weak, but let's talk about the only loose Game Boy Advance game we got, Pinball of the Dead. I'm not typically a big fan of video pinball, mainly because I suck at real life pinball, but this game is pretty cool. Of course, my wife, who loves pinball more than me, really had a good time with it. Next, we got the case but no game, Altered Beast Guardian of the Realms. I didn't even know this game existed. Is it worth buying? I mean, regardless, I'm gonna buy it because I can't have the case and no cartridge. But if you played it, let me know in the comments below. Next up, we got Gunstar Superheroes. I really enjoyed the side-scrolling sections of this game, but these Mode 7 stages, or whatever you want to call them, were a bit disorienting for me. But hey, at least I found the G-spot. Moving on, we also got Klonoa. I had a hard time with this game at first, but after a while I really started to enjoy it, which is good because we also got Klonoa 2. I haven't played much of these games, but from what I've played, I had a good time. Next we got Kong the Animated Series. I honestly didn't even know this show existed. Matter of fact, I don't really remember much about this game at all, so let's just move on. We also got Sonic Advance. I did already have a loose copy of this game, but I never really put much time into it. Honestly, I haven't really played many of the handheld Sonic games, but from what little I've played of this one, I enjoyed it a bit more than I expected. So this last game was one that he bought back in the day for $19.95 according to the sticker on here, and I couldn't figure out why a loose copy of this game was going for so much on eBay until I started to play it, and that is the Invincible Iron Man. I really expected this to be some mediocre or shitty game that just slapped the Iron Man name on it in order to sell copies. Thank you LJN for that. Thankfully, this game was not made by LJN and it shows. It's a really cool running gun that's definitely not easy, but it's a lot more fun than I expected. I can't say it's worth what it's going for, but if you can find a way to play this game, check it out. So the rest of these games are either Christmas gifts from the wife or random pickups, but this first game has a funny story behind it because the day after I got it, I received a notification on my phone that someone had commented on a video, and I remember glancing at the notification and it was something about Final Fight, and I'm like, man, when was the last time I talked about Final Fight? So when I looked it up, I realized it was someone who just watched the first ever video I uploaded to this channel, and I talked about how I got Final Fight in that video. And I mentioned that eventually I'll get Final Fight 2. So here we are, several years later, I finally got Final Fight 2. I don't have too much to say about this game. While I do prefer Streets of Rage, I still have a good time with these games. And hey, at least it's 2-player, right? We also got Gunsmoke on the NES. This is such a great pick up and play game. It's got such a great arcade feel, which makes sense because it's a port of an arcade game. So yeah. Also on the NES, we got Clash at Demon Head. This may not be the greatest game in the world, but I do have a good time with it. I do like how you can pick your path along the way, which is pretty cool. Moving on, we got Road Rash 3 on the Sega Genesis. Now, I can't say this is the best game in the original trilogy, but it is the one I'm most nostalgic for. And I still enjoy some of the skits that play out after a race. Plus, the awesome assortment of weapons makes the game that much more enjoyable. This next game I picked up a reproduction of many years ago at a convention and fell in love with it, so I'm happy to finally have an authentic complete-in-box copy of Splatterhouse Wanpaku Graffiti on the Famicom. I can't express how much I love this game, it's so much fun. While I do enjoy the other Splatterhouse games, I do find them to be a bit slow. This game is much more fast-paced, and yeah, it's kinda cute, but that just adds to the charm. Plus, all the horror movie references make this game a great experience. Next up, we got Dead or Alive on the PlayStation 1. There's a pretty cool store right outside of town that specializes in vinyl, comics, toys, and of course video games. While I was there, they had a box of random crap, and they just had the case and manual for super cheap. And then I looked up how much this game was going for complete in box on eBay and was kinda shocked. So after buying the case and manual, I found someone just selling the game on eBay and saved quite a bit of money. And that's what responsible collecting is all about. So if you happen to have seen the last pickups video I did with the wife, I talked about how I finally got a Sharp Famicom Twin. And unfortunately at the time, I didn't have any games to test out the disc system. So I ordered one back in December, and for some reason it was stuck in California forever. I have no idea why. But yeah, I finally got the game a week after I packed up my Sharp Famicom Twin. Yeah, anyway, we finally got a copy of Doki Doki Panic on the Famicom disc system. I'm sure most of you already know this is the original game that was reworked for the Super Mario Bros. 2. Not much else to say about it, but I'm still not certain if the disc system works on the Sharp Famicom Twin. So last up, we got a couple of Sega Saturn games. First up, we got Doom. Oh man, I grew up playing Duke Nukem 3D on the Saturn, and this game does not run anywhere near as smooth. It's playable, don't get me wrong, but there's so many other ports worth playing. Next up, we got Panzer Dragoon 2. I haven't played much of this game, but what little I did play, I enjoyed. I can't say it's worth all the hype, but I would have definitely enjoyed this game as a kid. Last up, if you happen to have seen the last video games pickups I did, I talked about how I was in the process of trying to replace some of the missing cases and manuals from my Sega Saturn collection. Well, this next game was stressing me out because it's not cheap. But thankfully, due to some Christmas money I got from family and an eBay auction that worked out really well in my favor, I was able to get Sonic Jam. I'm not going to talk much about this game. I've talked about it before and I'm going to talk about it again on another video if it hasn't already been released. But yeah, when I first started collecting, this game was going for about $150 complete in box, which I thought was ridiculous. Well, it's not going for that anymore, so I'm thankful things worked out the way they did. Well, anyway, guys, that was another round of some video game pickups. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks again for watching. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you again next time.